What's going on, EPW Nation? It's your boys from the Everything College Basketball Podcast, Josh and Peyton, here to remind you all that college basketball season is right around the corner. Yes, we finally know it's right around the corner, and Peyton, there's only one place people should go for all the college basketball excitement.
Well, Josh, the only place to find all college basketball hoops all the time is Everything College Basketball. Everything College Basketball can be listened to on several podcast hosting sites like Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And we can also be found on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Everything College Basketball.
Yes, make sure you are joining the group with a couple other 100 people and growing by the day as we march into year number 3 of the Everything College Basketball networking system. Now, let's get back to Conrad and Everything Pro Wrestling.
Folks, welcome to Clash of the Podcast, episode 12. Now, this is a weekly podcast presented to you by Everything Pro Wrestling and Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. Episode 12, we are going to be covering a lot of things from AEW Full Gear Fallout to Survivor Series, and we're going to be talking a little New Japan Pro Wrestling and some of the relationships mixed in. So make sure you guys stick around. Can't wait to talk about it with you guys, and let's get it. It's all on you, good sir.
What up? You already know what it is, man. I'm excited, yo. First of all, welcome, as my brother Conrad said, to another edition of Clash of the Podcast. Hubbard Wrestling Weekly's in the building. Everything Pro Wrestling's in the building, and we're so happy to have you guys. Sorry for a little bit of a delay. We're not going to ignore the elephant in the room. Couple technical difficulties. It's all good, but we are here. Thank you, JJ. None of us are getting any younger, girl, but we are here. It's all love. We are here. So we're talking about AEW Full Gear. We're getting prepared for Survivor Series coming up this weekend. I'm blaming this on intern shenanigans. I hear you. It's just one of those things where you gotta roll with the punches. But the bottom line is we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Conrad, how did you feel about Full Gear? I thought it was a banger.
Before we get started, I forgot I had put this picture in here. I wanted to give a quick little moment of silence here for a legend in the game, Jason David Frank, who passed away. I grew up watching Power Rangers, so I had to show this man some love in this just because, Green Ranger was that guy for a lot of people. I dressed up as White Ranger for Halloween. So R.I.P., man, to one of the realest from at least my time. I don't know if you were a big Power Rangers guy back in your day, but
I wasn't a Power Rangers guy, but a lot of my friends were. So, big shout out to him and rest in peace to Tommy Oliver. It was definitely a sad thing to see and hear about what's going on. It just seems like a lot of people are leaving this earth, man. So I'm not going to preach to y'all tonight, but we got to be thankful for every breath that we take because it's not promised. But rest in peace to a character that we all consider to be legendary. Even me not being a Power Ranger guy, I respect the work that he did. So much respect and much love, and rest in peace. So, Full Gear took place this past Saturday night, the 19th. I thought it was a banger. It was one of the rare AEW pay-per-views that did not have a debut of some sort, or some kind of surprise entrant. Not that I saw, but it was good. The cage match was good. The main event result was good, which I predicted to a T. Come on now. So how did you feel about the pay-per-view?
Yeah, overall, I thought the pay-per-view was all right. I see people in the chat writing, get a new mic. It ain't the mic, bro. It ain't the mic. It's something going on with this computer, and I got to figure out what it is. But yeah, overall, I don't know. It was a good show. The build-up was lackluster to me, so I went in like with that WWE expectation of like, oh, here we go, and then it turned out to be a pretty good show overall. Like I enjoyed myself. I didn't regret spending my money.
Like you're kind of on the low end, bro. Like I thought it was an excellent pay-per-view. Like I kid you not, I thought it was a banger.
We gave it an A-. We said I thought it was great. I was convincing other people to raise their scores.
Cool. So the cage match started off the show, and I just felt like I said on last week's edition of Clash of the Podcast that I felt like this was going to be Jack Perry's coming out party. I felt like it was going to be his opportunity to really make a name for himself as it relates to what the trajectory of his career in a singles realm is going to be. And I think he more than stepped up. Big shout out to Luchasaurus. You can't have a dance partner without a dance partner. You can't have a dance without a dance partner, let's say. So definitely Luchasaurus deserves a lot of credit as well. But this was Jack Perry's night. I'm calling him Jack Perry because I'm thinking that the Jungle Boy thing is going to go eventually. He touched on that a little bit during the post-media scrum. But obviously no changes right now. But I felt like he showed the world that he can be a primetime player. I don't know where this goes from here. Obviously, he's had the same dance partner, whether as a tag team partner and now as an opponent. Now he's going to have to venture off into the world of unknown by himself. He was always with Luchasaurus as a partner. He was always with Luchasaurus as an opponent. So now it's a situation where what do you go from here? So he's going to have to figure out what happens next. But for his main card, singles, big time debut, whatever you want to call it, he's 1 for 1 in my book. And your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're probably right though with like the whole. I feel like it's the JR thing that creeps in. He reminds me of like Sean Waltman. You know how he used to do for him. He'd be like, "That's the 1, 2, 3 kid, Sean Waltman out there." Like he tried to add that level of realism for the wrestler. I don't know. I thought that it was really good for what they were trying to do with him. I thought it was a great moment for Jungle Boy. I really wanted him to have that like Jimmy Snuka moment, like coming off the top and doing his thing. What up, Damon? I see you in the house, man. Thank you, everybody who joined in here as well. Please leave your thoughts on everything. We'll post them up here as well. And whoever put up Bow Wow, cut it out. We ain't talking about no Bow Wow up in here.
No, but you know what? Like, who said that? Yeah, it's unfortunately looks like it's true.
Wait, what? Oh, Bow Weezy's coming in?
It looks like this situation with Jade Cargill is starting to become more real. When I say more real, I'm talking about real as a storyline possibility. And I thought at first it was just a Twitter beef between two celebrities that saw each other on Twitter. But this latest little issue that they had where she was in his face and got up in his face and and whatchamacallit, the baddies were there too. That seems storyline to me. So you could see Bow Wow in AEW soon. I hate to say it, but that's what it looks like.
Who's gonna be in this corner? Free and AJ? What is this?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I know that what I saw online yesterday was storyline to me. I mean, I don't think Jade Cargill would be hanging out with the baddies in her real life. You know what I'm trying to say? So the fact that they were together, and approaching Bow Wow in a aggressive manner, that seemed storyline to me. That seemed like it had Khan's name on it. It seemed like it had AEW Creative's name on it. It did not seem like a real life altercation. So yes, Bow Wow looks like he might be on his way.
Man, I'm hurt hearing this. I'm hurt. And Matt Lopez is in the chat saying Bow Wow next TBS champ.
Oh,
Come on. We can't do that now.
And now I hope you're wrong, but I see where you're going with. That's a shame. And that's a big story too, because Bow Wow, to me, it's a big story for the wrong reasons, Conrad, because it's a situation where you have a B-list celebrity coming into AEW. This is not like Shaq and Cody Rhodes. I thought Shaq and Cody Rhodes made sense. That was cool. Bow Wow and Jade Cargill, like, I hope it's not what it looks like. I hope it's not what it looks like, because it looks like he's coming.
Yeah. It could be.
I'm assuming you didn't see the clip.
I did. I saw. I don't know what. So, do you know what was happening? All I saw was that there was some type of popcorn being thrown. Security escorts the girls away, and then Bow Wow talking.
It was a bat. First of all, again, just to kind of review a little bit, I don't want to give too much merit to this, but it all started with Bow Wow trying to ask out Jay Cargill online on Twitter, and Jay Cargill said you couldn't afford me. That seemed like a real life Twitter, interaction that basically was like, okay, whatever. The reason why I feel like it's now a storyline AEW possibility, like for real now, is because Bow Wow was at one of his shows at the Millennium Tour. And somehow Jade Cargill and this is the key, and the baddies are now at the Millennium Tour at his photo op, and they're getting in his face and throwing popcorn. So to me, the fact that the baddies were there, that seems like an AEW structured altercation. And if that's the case, that means Bow Wow's coming.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh no, what are we doing? Okay, I hear you on that. Were there any other matches, Sean, that surprised you for the night?
I thought that the Elite losing was a surprise, but it was a pleasant surprise. I didn't feel like the Death Triangle should take the L just because the Elite was coming back. I felt like it was a good deal for them to retain the titles, the trios titles. I'm really excited about the future. I like how Ray Phoenix used the hammer because it's going to add a different layer to what's going on storyline wise with the Death Triangle. I almost thought that they were on the verge of breaking up, but with Ray Phoenix using the hammer, obviously he has subscribed to Pac's way of thinking, which means that the Death Triangle are on the same page, and they could be trios champions for quite a long time. And obviously, this has led to what I think is a very intriguing 7-match series. We didn't know it was a 7-match series, but it turned out to be match 1 of a 7-match series. A 7-match series that comes to mind from our early childhood was Booker T and Benoit, which I thought was amazing. And this has the potential to be amazing as well. I see you shaking your head, though. You don't like it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I hate it, actually, as a fan. And here's why. And it's not because of the Elite. Mm-hmm. I'm going to explain to you logically why I hate this. Because you're giving away 2 of your top banger matches. Like, if you know, in WWE or anywhere else, when the company is down, you have certain matches that you're like, that's my go-to match. I could put that on at any time. We're going to get people in the building. With this, the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros,
mm-hmm.
You can't just have that's going to vanish now. 7 times, I don't want to see it again.
Okay.
Pac versus Kenny Omega, I'm not going to want to see it again. You did it once, and now I'm going to sit through this 7 more times. Well, 7 total, because they're going all 7. Right. I just think it's overkill, personally.
It's overkill if it's anybody but Death Triangle versus the Elite, because I feel like there's so much stuff they have in their bag that we can be looking at this a month from now, and that's how long these matches are going to take, about a month, and say, man, every match was a banger. I mean, I don't know. I understand what you're trying to say. It's a bit much, a 7-match series, but there's 6 guys, so there's so many different combinations of things that can happen. How can you get bored with the Bucks and Omega and the Lucha Brothers and how can you get bored with those guys, man? I mean, 7 matches does seem like a lot, but
it could happen. I think it could happen.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see. Ask me this is going to New Year, right? Ask me by New Year if I'm fatigued of this match. I just think you don't want to burn through it because you have bangers all throughout that you could do with Penta and Kenny, Penta and Phoenix. Am I going to want to see it after you do 7 matches? I think you'd have to go away from it for a while.
Okay.
Let me see here. Big T, no disrespect to Bow Wow. Y'all talk about Bow Wow's athletic. Bow Wow was at WrestleMania 24 and they didn't even acknowledge him. I want y'all to go back if If you could find Bow Wow in the crowd, I remember that moment. I was like, yo, this dude's career is done. He's at WrestleMania and nobody cares. They're putting up signs for Kim Kardashian. I was like, who is she at the time? Obviously, I didn't see the videos at the time, but I was just like, who is this? Like, what are they doing here? So maybe I see people upset with the Elite. Sean, before we get off the Elite thing, how did you feel about the FCM Punk chants?
You know how I felt about it. I've told you that CM Punk made some mistakes. I don't want to get into it again. But I've always stood firm on the fact it wasn't CM Punk's fault all by himself, but CM Punk made some terrible decisions. And I think those hens are coming home to roost. I wouldn't go as far as to say F CM Punk. I don't feel that passionately about it, but CM Punk made some mistakes. I told you that, Conrad.
B-Boy, they gave Kenny the Tokyo Dome week off. There's a week where it skips.
Okay.
Peep game. So I know he's saying they won't go all 7, but I think they still are. I don't know. With the Elite thing, I feel kind of weird, bro. I feel kind of weird about it. I think that I feel like, so I watched BTE today and I felt like they knew what they were doing when they came out with the song. First, BTE, the song changed to this, like, I'm going to punch you in the face, I don't take no S, all types of stuff. And I was just like, okay, that was an interesting song for them to cut to, even though they had the rights for it. Then they show Brandon Cutler filming the crowd as they chanted that, and the Young Bucks are taunting with it. And I'm like, these dudes are still EVPs. And they're saying that this is okay. And this guy is still employed by you. Shout out to the new CM Punk t-shirt they put out today, too. Very funny, and it's very weird, man. It's a very weird environment right now.
What's weird about it? CM Punk's coming back.
Right, but...
Wait, come on. Like you're a smart guy. You know the deal. He's coming back. No,
but is this a work now at this point? Do you think it's like they've mended fences? Because for you to show FCM Punk, and I'm just like, how would that make you feel if you're sitting at home and I'm like, how am I going to make money off of this? Would be the only thing in my mind if I'm a wrestler.
It's going to make me feel great when CM Punk comes back, even though I've been very critical of his behavior. When CM Punk comes back as a master, crazy, over-the-top heel and starts killing everybody.
Right? I'm calling it now. The Elite win the titles back, and Punk and FTR or House of Black make the return. I can see that happening, Big T.
Not bad.
I can see that as well. BJ says, I wonder if they're doing all this to see how well the ratings will cover over the holiday season to help Discovery give them a better deal for ROH. Maybe, but that doesn't pertain.
Right. I don't think it's applicable in this guy. So I see what he's trying to say, though.
Yeah. Craig thinks they're getting tore up in Chicago. What do you think? Over under? You think the Elite are going to get it bad, or do you think everyone's going to side with them? Because Chicago's a pro AEW town.
Chicago's a pro AEW town, but I think they're going to give it to the Elite pretty hardcore because they're CM Punk people. I think they love CM Punk more than they love AEW.
Cray and everybody is still yelling in the chat. It's a work. It's a work. We'll see. We'll see if you guys are right. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Go ahead, throw me another match.
You're talking to a guy who actually thought for a long, long time that the Montreal Screwjob was a work. So I'm highly critical of these quote-unquote real-life situations.
Well, time out. We're rewinding back to that. What do you mean thought it was a work? This is clippable, by the way.
Yeah,
17-minute mark. Write that down.
Montreal Screwjob definitely could have been a work, like hardcore. Like you're putting out. They didn't cut the camera when Bret Hart did the WCW call signs in reverse, so it could be read correctly on television. You got him spitting in Vince McMahon's face on television. You got him tearing up the cameras on television the next night on Raw. You know, they do this whole interview. It turns into the Vince McMahon storyline. Like, it's highly probable. It's highly probable that 25 years ago, almost to the day, that is back on November 9th, that Montreal Screwjob was a work. So fast forward CM Punk. Oh, CM Punk had a fight with the guys backstage, and he's off the scene, and CM Punk is having an issue with the executive vice presidents, and now they're back, and FCM Punk chants, but yet they're dropping a CM Punk t-shirt at the exact same time. Like, give me a break. It's not even clever. Like, a blind man can see it. Ray Charles can see that.
We'll see. Punk is very smart in remaining quiet, I'll say. in what he's done. What up, E?
And by the way, I don't feel sorry for Bret Hart either with that, because I think it was,
that was as bad as his Goldberg remarks. You didn't even have to say that. Shame on you, Sean Hubbard. Shame on you. Well, that's a talk for another day. One day we'll have to get into some of the mysteries of wrestling every week that have just been beefs for such a long time. People are talking about we're going to see Punk on Wednesday night. I don't know if we see Punk on Wednesday. I think he's going to wait a while before he makes that comeback. The screw job was a work, then it became a shoot, then it became a work.
You know, if you just let the people talk to us, Conrad, you've built a wonderful platform here, my brother, and these people are smart. Just because it sounds like me completely like dogging people out as the words come out of my mouth, it doesn't make it any less true. HBK did what let's call a spade a spade. I have infinite respect for Bret Hart, but Shawn Michaels did what he had to do. Vince McMahon did what he had to do. And at the end of the day, it was a work. Does Vince McMahon not hire professional cameramen that know not to cut away when Bret Hart puts up the WCW call signs? Let's grow up a little. Let's grow up a little bit. It's 25 years later. We were like 7 years old. Let's grow up a little bit and understand that it was a work.
I mean,
it was a work.
So when I was a kid, I didn't watch it live, so I felt very weird about it. But let's get back into Full Gear real quick.
We can talk about this all night.
Exactly. We could talk about the other one all night too when you look at both sides of it. Tony Khan, once again, I want someone to hold Dave Meltzer's feet to the fire because he swore CM Punk got Colt Cabana removed and Tony Khan said no. Someone's lying. So who's lying, right? But we won't get into that right now. Any other matches that you'd like to get into from Full Gear?
I thought the tag title match was a little clunky. We all kind of saw the Swerve and Our Glory breakup happening from weeks and weeks, but Bowens was quote unquote injured, and I mean we've seen that storyline play out. Kayfabe injuries that lead to really cool comebacks in the match that lead to victories, but it was a little clunky. It just seemed like they had it didn't get that momentum, especially the same kind of momentum that they had in the first match, and especially the momentum they had at Arthur Ashe Stadium. But I mean, it was a good match. I feel like the right team won. I love their commentary after the show on the post show. I mean, my goodness, they said that they feel like they're the best tag team in the world. Obviously, that's a stretch, but they're on their way. But the booking of that team is going to be so critical. And I'm going to put it out there right now. They need a signature win. And a signature win is not, with all due respect, I think they're great athletes, but a signature win is not Swerve in Our Glory. They've won 2 out of 3 from them. It's time to move on. They need a Young Bucks, Death Triangle, kind of team to step up and put on a groundbreaking performance that can really put the Acclaim on the map.
I hear you. I even agree with you. But I have a different fear that's coming up. And this has been coming to roost for a long time, Sean. I've been saying this for 3 months, I'll say. FTR are due. They're just due as being the top tag team. And right now, we got a young team that caught fire in the Acclaimed. How long can you keep this up?
I don't have a problem FTR being the number one challengers, but I do have a problem, and watch how I word this. I have a problem with it being a foregone conclusion that when and if the Acclaim defend against FTR, that FTR has to win. That I have a problem with. If they do win, if it's quote unquote, I hate to use this term, best for business, I have no problem with it. FTR is one of the best teams in the world right now, probably top 3. But I have a problem if you or anybody else is saying if and when the Acclaim defend against FTR, that FTR has to bring home the belts. I have a problem with that. I like the idea of them facing each other, and I like the idea of the Acclaim successfully defending the titles and staking their claim of legitimacy. You got to understand, and I hate to say this, and the chat, please chime in. I hate to say it, but I don't think the Acclaim have arrived as it relates to levels of believability as being one of the best teams in the world. They are the AEW World Tag Team Champions, but do we believe that they are one of the best teams in the world? I think they're on the verge, but they need a signature win.
BJ kind of hit what I think could happen. They beat FTR at Winter is Coming. They dropped the belts to them at Revolution. I could see that, but I also see Big T's thinking too. I think the Acclaim would want to challenge FTR for the belts. Like, they're so cocky right now because they've beaten everybody they've been facing. We'll face you for your ROH tag titles at the Ring of Honor event. They step out of their world. That's kind of a FTR world right there, Ring of Honor. They could get the win.
I actually like that idea because in that situation, you can have the Acclaim lose, and then you can have FTR request a title shot for the AEW belts.
And I'm only saying this because you need to get the Ultimo Dragon picture.
Mm-hmm.
You need where's the picture with all the belts? That's why you did this. So you have to give them that. But right now the Acclaim's hot. You're in a darned if you do, darned if you don't kind of position. So that's
Tony. I believe they called it the J Crown when Ultimo Dragon had the belts. I don't have a problem with that being the Acclaim. See, this is my problem, Conrad. I recognize that the Acclaim haven't arrived yet, but they are on the doorstep of arriving. And are you willing to snuff out what could be an amazing situation to give the nod to FTR, who are already over? They are already triple tag team champions, man. Triple. They are triple tag team champions. Obviously, AEW is doing a great job of making sure everybody understands that the AEW belts are the most prestigious out of all 4 titles. But they are triple tag team champions. There's no reason for us to jump ahead and say, hey, listen, we got to have FTR beat the Acclaim. I mean, I don't know, man.
Shout out to the bots that showed up in the building. We must be doing something right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing to see. I'm okay with it. I guess it depends on how it's executed. You know what I mean? But I think both teams are deserving of being tag team champions right now.
They both are tag team champions, Conrad. See, this is
No. You're not. I'm not getting away from this because FTR have been what's the word I'm looking for? Bamboozled throughout this year. Dax Harwood, I think, has more singles matches than FTR have tag matches. And guess what? Cash Wheeler's not hurt. So something is wrong here with how much FTR is being used on television, and they can feel it. They can smell it. They were over.
You're speculating, and I respect what you're saying, but you have to just deal in.
That was a fact, what I just said.
No. You're not speculating about what you said. You're speculating about the reasons behind what you said. What you said are 100% facts.
But so why did you give them all those titles then? Do you get what I'm saying?
They are because they are the best tag team in the world right now. There's no question about that.
So I'm a big person on I cannot stand that
they're triple tag team champions. You're telling me they can't survive and continue to thrive without the AEW belts? You have to crush the Acclaim under your thumb in order to get FTR a 4th title?
But why did you do it then? Like, so here's my thing.
What do you mean why? They're triple tag team champions.
But Sean, you have this illusion. There's no Ring of Honor television yet, right? So FTR is beating people on TV. So all I'm seeing is FTR wins because you don't want to beat them because they're your champs, right?
Right.
But then on the other hand, I'm like, so why aren't they getting the tag title shot? That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Like I said, let me take what you said is facts. But you're speculating on the facts that you just correctly put out. I'm simply saying this. My argument is not complicated at all. It's very elementary. I own that. On one side, you have triple tag team champions that are universally recognized as the top team in the world right now, with the exception of maybe the Usos, maybe New Day. New Day not so much anymore, but maybe the Usos and maybe the Bucks, right? Then on the other side, you have the AEW World Tag Team Champions that are the people's choice, especially AEW originals. And at the end of the day, you have a choice. Let's continue to let FTR sell out buildings and get major reactions with 3 3 world tag titles over their shoulders, or give them a 4th title, and in the process, kill all the momentum that you built up with the Acclaim.
I hear you. I think you got to wait until it's the right moment, but time will tell. I'll leave it at that for right now. Time will tell. This is a Tony Khan decision. Anything else from this pay-per-view that we should touch on here?
I think they should let us run the company, honestly.
Yo, Tony, give us a call. I'm pretty cheap, actually. Student loans, they just stopped them. That's usually my price point for a lot of things. When someone does student loans, all debt gone, I'm good.
I said it from day one. I will do it for $150,000, and as long as all my expenses are paid, I will do it for $150,000. Run the entire company.
You tripping, bro? You better get that bag for that. I'll be your VP for that. Like, I'm coming in like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, he said what he said was right. In what my partner Derek called match of the night, and I will agree, I think, after looking at this card, I was going back and forth on what I would have picked because I really like that steel cage match too, but this is probably match of the night. Jamie Hayter finally becoming the interim women's champ.
Very good for her. Much deserved. I love how AEW, this is one thing I got to give AEW credit for. They listen to the fans. I believe that the Acclaim winning at the Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens was directly related to the response they got when they lost the first match with Swerve in Our Glory. And I feel the same thing about Jamie Hayter. I feel like Jamie Hayter has had this groundswell of support from the fans. I think it's eventually going to lead to a feud between her and Britt Baker. And I think it's going to be really good. I think she deserved it, and I think the right person won.
And no, they're not injured. I see people putting Jamie as the goal. I'm happy for her. I really thought this was going to go a different way. I thought that Britt Baker would cost her the match. She becomes babyface, and then she'll be the one to face Jade. So I'm kind of happy I was wrong because I wasn't expecting it. Mm-hmm. And I like that Britt Baker pulled off the shirt, and she was wearing the Jamie Hayter shirt. Like, yo, this is her time. So gives you some stuff to work with, I guess, going forward. I don't know if Thunder Rosa is going to be back. There's been talk maybe they're going to pull the belts off of her. I don't know.
Said it before, I'll say it again. I'm a huge Thunder Rosa fan. I wish her well, but you cannot have the world title be dormant for this long.
Are you done with the interim stuff? If you're advising, okay, because I'm starting to feel like maybe the fans don't want it, and maybe we should just stop doing it. I saw what he was trying to do with the UFC stuff because that's popular in UFC, but it's not working in pro wrestling apparently.
Yeah, it's secondary, and honestly, the problem is that you would think that the interim. I don't like what he said during the post-match media scrum. He talked about how when and if Thunder Rosa comes back, that Jamie Hayter would have the opportunity to become the world champ. Like, just wording it that way just completely nullifies the interim belt.
And I think he does it, too, to hold himself accountable. You don't want another Finn Balor situation going back to that injury at SummerSlam with his shoulder. He wins the Universal title, has to drop it right away. Did he ever get a rematch?
He never got a rematch.
That's what I'm saying. So you don't want to – I think that's what he's trying to avoid doing because people will be like, why didn't he get a rematch? That's always your first question.
Right.
I guess we'll kind of try to blow through these. Chris Jericho found a way to retain his Ring of Honor championship.
I would have liked to see Bryan Danielson come out on top with that, but I like the Ocho swag that Jericho has. He's one of these old guys, and I say that with respect, one of the old guys, one of the OGs that actually still makes sense to me. He's not like he's not one of the old guys that are just trying to hold on to a spot. I truly believe that Jericho being ROH champion does something good for that title, and I think him retaining at the pay-per-view is not a problem.
Yeah. I'm really happy with the work that Jericho's done. To me, there's only two choices going into the Ring of Honor pay-per-view who we could defend it against. One is Bryan Danielson. I know that people are probably like, how many times are we going to see that match? But the other one, to me, you got to bring back someone from the past who could take the belt away. And I know nobody's going to want to hear this, and I'm reaching. But I think Nigel McGuinness, yes, the NXT UK commentator, could make his return and restore honor back to Ring of Honor. He's cleared to wrestle. I don't know if people know that. He was cleared to wrestle. He chose to go into commentary to work for the brand that he always wanted to.
I like Nigel McGuinness. You know that. We've talked about him. But I just believe respectfully that if Nigel McGuinness is some kind of surprise opponent for Jericho, that the response would be ho-hum, honestly. And that's no disrespect to him.
Okay, some people think Jericho's losing that final battle finally.
I do as well, but they have to pick the right opponent.
Some are saying Bryan. Someone said they hope it doesn't lead to Sammy versus Jericho.
I think
Sammy had a good performance, I'll say. Like, he felt better than he has since the TNT title. Like, he felt kind of you know?
Well, I think he's still. I agree. I think he's still. I think he's at this limbo of his career. It's kind of like this ugly kind of portion of his career where you don't know where he's going to go. Like, you know, he's that obnoxious, good-looking. You know, the good-looking part is part of what makes him obnoxious. Like, he's good-looking. He's good in the ring. You know.
I had a friend tell me he's got X-Pac heat, but he doesn't know it.
Oh, I think he knows it now. He knew it when he was in. He knew it when he was in Dubai at the boxing match.
Dude. Come on, man. I thought we weren't going to bring that up again on this show.
I brought it up.
But for real, though, like, do you think it's X-Pac heat with him? Like, it's just I don't want to see you. Go away.
Yeah, I think so, too. But I think the dream scenario, honestly, would be Adam Cole coming back and coming out to challenge. That would be the best situation for me.
You and Craig were on that same wavelength. Like, the moment I put it up, he was saying it.
Oh, that's okay, cool.
That's wild. Someone said if Joe didn't turn heel, yeah, that was weird too. Samoa Joe wins the TNT championship. I wonder if you're going to unify those belts.
But see, Conrad, and this is another thing, more blast from the past from previous episodes we've done together. I am not a Wardlow fan. I'm not. I think he's limited in his character.
Bro, I thought Hobbs was winning. I was like, oh, Hobbs has to win this. And I had it in my mind, Ricky Starks is going to win the tournament. He's going to lose to MJF. Ricky Starks and Hobbs is then the match that you could do at Revolution. Hobbs got a nice little run with the belt. Boom. Nope. Definitely swerved me again. I got played. So it's
and big respect to Joe, too. I mean, just Joe having 2 active titles over his shoulders. I love that.
I thought you could unify them, though, and at least drop one. They got a lot of belts, even for Ring of Honor. Like, how many? You got a 6-man, a TV, women's, world, tag, pure.
Yeah. So you're of the belief that they have too many belts right now.
Yeah, even for Ring of Honor, I'm like, let's slow down. But we still don't know what Ring of Honor is, so
yeah.
I could be speaking out of turn. So I'll take that. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else we missed. Sting and Darby. Were you happy with your boy Double J's performance?
My boy, I respect the man. Everybody knows I respect the man, but the match was what I expected it to be. It was slow. It was carried by the younger guys, Lethal and Darby, and Sting got to beat his chest. Double J got the strut. It was what it was.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at that at all. I thought that was overall good. I wish he would have caught Jay Lethal. That was so close to being perfect, and Sting stumbled backwards.
Yeah, it's true. And I thought he hurt himself too. That was scary.
Yeah, because he stayed down after, and Darby was like, I got it, I'll cover. Boom. And then they got the dub. I like Sting and Darby as a team. That's another team who should be like, yo, why are we getting tag team title shot? We won all our matches.
And by the way, since you brought him up, as the professional you are, I'm going to go there. I'm going to take you back in time. Spending my days working hard on the go, but the hands on the clock keep spinning too slow. Y'all know y'all was feeling that. Don't lie. Y'all know y'all was feeling that.
Shout out to the best thing Road Dogg ever did.
That's true.
Oh no, it's probably the you didn't know.
Yeah, you are really on some you're not feeling that guy right now.
I'm not feeling that Brett comment. That was dirty that he said that. It was a little foul for someone who's got like 3 moves to try and talk about Brett like that.
Oh, you're 100% right.
Wait, 2 Samoans named Joe are double champs in wrestling right now.
True.
And BJ, we done told you about this in the chat now. It's usually the wee woo that'll get you kicked out of here, but I'm gonna let it rock. It's my world. I never thought we would see a TNA chant happening.
The most under. I'll go a little bit further with it, bro. And this is a controversial statement. I'm almost hesitant to say it. The most underappreciated pillar of professional wrestling, Double J Jeff Jarrett. Tell me I'm wrong. I think Double J is one of the. First of all, it's undeniable that Double J is a pillar of the sport, right? 100. Right. Oh, here we go. You're back.
You're right.
One of the most underappreciated pillars of pro wrestling, Double J Jeff Jarrett.
Guys, I really don't have time to answer that, so we're gonna move on with the next segment.
You make me sick. You make me sick.
We have an incredible main event that happened. Sean, this is your glory moment. You called it.
I called it. I mean, I felt like it was kind of hiding in plain sight. I felt like, big shout out to BJ. I appreciate that. Yes, ML, answer it. That's right. ML, I like that. Tell him to answer the damn question. But anyway, real talk for me, and Conrad, make sure you check your audio again. I called it because I felt like it was hiding in plain sight. If you remember when you guys were listening to us last week, I predicted that MJF would actually lose the match because he would keep his word and not use the Dynamite and then it would cost him the match. But then I thought about it. I put up a little video on HubbardWrestlingWeekly.com. When you get a chance, go to Hubbard Wrestling Weekly's YouTube channel, subscribe, and check out the latest video I put out where I changed my prediction. I just felt like at the end of the day, it was hiding in plain sight. It was like we're just forgetting about William Regal. We're forgetting about who William Regal is. We're forgetting about how William Regal is a heel to his core. We're forgetting about the fact that MJF as a face, which he's been for the past month, has been unnatural. Him ponying to the crowd and hyping up the crowd and having the crowd go along with his claps, and it just was unnatural. So when I thought about it, I said, you know something? William Regal's going to screw Jon Moxley. That's how I came up with it. It wasn't a brainiac thing that I came up with. I just felt like it was hiding in plain sight, and I felt like it was something that kind of just slipped under the radar, and I was able to catch it just a couple of days before the pay-per-view.
Yeah. MJF's the perfect champion to lead people into the future era, I guess, of AEW. So it's a good move. I'm interested to see what baby faces he's going to be able to elevate, because right now that's kind of what they need. They're hurting a little bit. There's no Punk. Yeah, so we'll have to see what it is. Regal's a true villain. What will his relationship be? We'll have to watch Dynamite in the upcoming weeks to figure it out, but definitely going to be something to keep an eye out for. You know what? I'm going to transition into this weirdly because I didn't mention this on the pre-show. Shout out to Eddie Kingston getting this match against Jun Akiyama. Yeah, very happy for him. I thought that was really good. It's cool to see someone live their dreams. Like, he's always talked about that match on Twitter. Like, he wanted it, and Tony gave it to him. And I thought using the pre-show for your relationships that you've expanded upon makes things better.
Well said, Conrad. I can't add anything to that. That was well said.
Also, we had a big crossover event. Spoilers incoming, because I know one person who told me they didn't see it yet. So I'm going to give you a second to pause if you do not want to hear what happened with the first ever women's IWGP champion being crowned.
Oh boy.
You might remember her, Sean. Kyrie.
Dude, unbelievable. What a night. What a great accomplishment.
Defeated Mayu Iwatani, and I thought it was an incredible matchup. It's nice to see that the women are going to have a title now to wrestle for on Wrestle Kingdom, Dominion, and even like some of the stateside events. This is going to be really dope, in my opinion. 100%.
There's absolutely nothing I can add to what you said with that either. I am so excited about that change in the guard in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Ali is putting a question here for us. Kenny Omega or Roman Reigns in terms of promo ability? I'm taking Roman.
And I never thought that would ever. If you asked me a year ago, I would have never said that. But Roman Reigns has elevated his game. As a matter of fact, that promo that he did when he was on his way out of the ring with no microphone to the camera directly was amazing, and that was impromptu. Roman Reigns on top of his game.
Right. And you know what? This is the perfect transition for us to get into something else that happened on that show. My man, Will Ospreay, comes out. He was dressed up as Hayabusa, paying his respects, showing his love and honor. He wins the big matchup here against Shota Umino. Lights go out, Sean. And we've seen this before, but usually with a different faction. And who shows up? But this guy, speaking fluent Japanese.
Amazing.
Letting people know that there's a virus that caused a lot of problems, but he's not talking about the one that we can't say on this show.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about Will Ospreay being the virus, the reason why the crowd isn't as loud as it used to be. You got the two top gaijin going against each other, and Kenny Omega made the challenge. Wrestle Kingdom 17. This is the matchup, bro.
We have seen New Japan take the true essence of pro wrestling to another level on many occasions. My esteemed colleague Conrad is more familiar than I am, but over the last 4 or 5 years, I've become very acclimated with the New Japan process and New Japan product. I salute them, but I say that to say this. I believe Will Ospreay to be, I've said this before, Conrad, if you don't remember, I believe Will Ospreay to be the best professional wrestler in the world. I believe Will Ospreay is the best wrestler in any promotion, anywhere, at any time. Will Ospreay is the man to me. And
They said Meltzer's star rating system is going to be broken for this match.
And I feel that Will Ospreay, I notice there's not a smile on my face. To the chat, I'm not joking around. This is not for semantics. This is not for dramatic effect. I believe Ospreay versus Omega could go down as the greatest wrestling match we've ever seen. And I'm not talking about just recent time. I'm talking about Steamboat Savage territory. I think this match could be the greatest match of all time. I am so excited.
Listen, you heard the man. I can't even really say anything to argue that or bring up a different point. This is one of your big selling points to get Wrestle Kingdom. If you have not watched Wrestle Kingdom, this is the year to get into it and try it out. I've really enjoyed the product. I don't watch New Japan every single show that they do, but I do have the ability to catch the big shows.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, I had to do that one time, but they're well worth it. They're really fun shows, and you get to see some incredible talent on there. So if you've never watched it, I believe it's January 4th, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3rd. Take your time out of your day. Maybe it's not going to be that day, but maybe a little before Dynamite, maybe even after Dynamite. Sit down with your computer, watch some New Japan, watch the show through. You might enjoy yourself. I promote wrestling here.
There you go.
Ospreay Omega will break the internet. We got a lot of people doing it. I hope they allow fans to be vocal for Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah, we forget the nice things that we have here in America that we could cheer and everything again. They still haven't been allowed to yet. They're still clapping over there.
Well, I think, first of all, ML's point is valid. McKinney, I agree with you. It's going to break the internet, but ML's point is valid, but I think that even with the lack of crowd response, which obviously crowd response will make it better, but even without it, I mean, this is going to be the greatest in-ring performance ever. I mean, you have two of, in my opinion, literally the top 3 wrestlers in the world going head to head, and the guy who I consider Will Ospreay to be the greatest wrestler alive today, and I can't even express to you how excited I am about that match. That is a massive, massive, and it often makes me wonder why New Japan is not further up on the totem pole as it relates to, world promotions. I mean, people kind of generally put it at 3rd or 4th, and it should be like up there.
It was number 2, I thought, at one point in time, personally.
Okay.
I thought they had it. I think AEW came in and they kind of were like, we're going to take a couple of your guys and we're going to just knock you down a little bit of a peg. Sorry about that, but we can still be friends. But remember what I said about that best of 7 series? No Young Bucks. What are they going to be doing? Does Tony let them go over? FTR are the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. What are they going to be doing on the show? They're going to want their belts defended on the biggest show. And I'm looking at... I'm sorry.
I said, of course.
You've got Okada, Jay White, which is a classic matchup. Jay White is the world champion right now over there. You've got a lot of good things happening. I encourage people to check it out. I'll probably have some type of coverage on the channel. I can't promise you a review because I can't promise I'm staying up at 7 a.m. to do a wrestling review for y'all, but you'll get some type of coverage for it.
Yes, I will be doing some written stuff, some articles in the lead up and review of that show. It's too important not to document.
I like it. And let's get into what everybody's been waiting to hear us talk about. Let's talk Survivor Series here a little bit. We'll give our predictions and such because it's happening next Saturday. It's going down. Your thoughts, Sean? Go ahead. Carry this for us, brother.
You cannot.
The tone is just what sets it off for you.
I said it last week. I'll say it again. Yes, it's nice that they're bringing importance back to the Survivor Series, but the Brawling Brute should not be in the match. I think they kind of saved it with Kevin Owens being involved. They're leaving a little bit of mystery on who's going to be the 5th team member on Bianca's women's team. I'm excited, but I'm not as excited as I should be. Do they have some major shoes to fill as it relates to coming off the heels of Full Gear. And I don't care how WWE tries to ignore the competition. They need to be ready because Full Gear was a banger. And EPW graded it A-, Hubbard Wrestling Weekly graded it A+. So I don't see anything on this card that's going to make this show an A+. I'll start off by saying that. I think that Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey is laughable. I think that this match is an obvious win for Ronda Rousey. I think it's a shame that they would even put Shotzi in this position. It should clearly have been an elimination match with Ronda as a captain and, I don't know, somebody else as a captain, not even Shotzi. I would have had no problem seeing Shotzi on somebody's team. But a one-on-one match for the women's title at what's supposed to be the biggest Survivor Series in 10 years, laughable. Like I said, Brawling Brutes as part of Sheamus's team. And by the way, WWE is billing this as Sheamus's team, not Drew McIntyre's team, which I thought is a surprise, but it's definitely coming across as Sheamus's team. So that adds a little bit of disappointment to that match. They're holding off on who's going to be the 5th member of Bianca's team. Don't be surprised if it's another letdown. I thought it was going to be Sasha, maybe Naomi. Clearly not. It's going to be like Candice LeRae. It's going to be, somebody that it's going to be like, oh, ho-hum. It's going to be another disappointment. I'm very dissatisfied with you talk about the build-up, Conrad, to Full Gear. I am disgusted with the build-up to Survivor Series. I was excited for 2 minutes when they announced Survivor Series Wargames. The build-up has been disappointing. The team members and the participants have been disappointing. And it's looking like this show could be disappointing.
I see a lot of the chats agreeing with you on what's being said. So let's start with the match that you brought up because this is the least interesting one to me. Ronda Rousey.
The least interesting one.
I'm sorry.
You can't see. You are just as mean as I am, but you just do it on a sneak tip. Chat, this is how he did it. It's like you say it under your breath. I heard you, and they heard you. You're just as mean as I am.
I went to the school of professional journalism with Bobby the Brain Heenan. I know how to talk about these things.
I'm a professional journalist too. The match sucks, and it's stupid that they even put it together, and it was stupid when they announced it, and it's a waste of pay-per-view time.
For the record, those who know, I would never call myself a journalist. That's a real tip. But this match sucks, man. Like Shotzi shouldn't be in this spot, I feel. But let's see what she does.
I wish this was alcohol. It's not, but I wish this was alcohol.
I want to see what they can pull out of this one. Ronda got everything that she wanted. Maybe Shayna Baszler is going to be out there to give her the assist. I kind of like them in a dynamic together, but how are they going to pull this off? I don't know. Ronda's big match is against Becky one-on-one at Mania. That's what this is leading to.
This is terrible, Conrad. This is a terrible match. I mean, terrible.
I don't want it to be. is where I'm going for this.
Crap. Good God Almighty, Conrad! Shotzi challenging Ronda Rousey at what is supposed to be the most important Survivor Series in a decade? Shotzi?
That's it. That's what we got.
Oh my sweet! I cannot explain to you how devastated I was when Shotzi became the number one contender.
They got some work to do.
Oh.
The buildup for this has been mid. People are saying is a bad idea it's a dumb idea by bad creative. I think the one positive I could say, not so interesting. The match may blow the expectations. Yeah, Matt's right about that.
That's true. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I would have put Raquel in the match against Ronda. Makes it more interesting. Could be. Triple H putting his children in prime spots.
We lost you again, brother. I just, while he gets his audio back, I just can't tell you how disappointed I am, guys. I mean, it's one of those things, you watch SmackDown, you watch Raw, you know their number one contender matches, you know there's situations coming up where there's going to be a possibility that there's going to be stuff happening that's going to lead to, like, for instance, we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Mia Yim being added to the women's match. What? Why?
Let's get through these first.
No, because I'm really mad though. Like you're laughing. I'm dead serious.
I need you to save your anger though, because I need to build this up. Bray Wyatt, LA Knight. We got some build to that little slap across the face from LA Knight, or should I say LA Knight? Yeah, dummy. What do you want from this? I don't know. I don't know what we're getting. Bray's finally going to wrestle. They're doing something.
The fact that Bray is going to wrestle is a positive. There's nothing else.
Wow. I really waited for something for him to do that to me. This is going to be a match. I hope this doesn't hurt LA Knight's.
You hope it doesn't hurt LA Knight? You hope it doesn't hurt LA Knight? He's going to squash him. And all the work that he's done to get away from Max Dupree or whatever his name is going to be for naught. See, this is what makes me angry about you, Conrad. You're a very smart guy. But then you say certain things that make no sense. You hope it doesn't hurt LA Knight. LA Knight is not going to get in 3 punches in this match.
To be fair, I keep telling myself that Triple H has this grandiose plan that's going to set everything straight afterwards. That's what I hope is going to happen. But Bray has to win this. There's no doubt in my mind. Could they have LA Knight win if he stays in his regular Bray Wyatt persona because he's too nice? Moving on.
Yeah,
so next up, this match is one that I want to care about, but I can't, I feel like. AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Battle of the Bullet Club leaders, the first two. What do you think here? We got this match before by accident on a show where a bunch of people were sick. I think it was a TLC show a few years back.
I've been up on my soapbox for about the last 7 minutes. I want to come down now. This match is very good, I think. I think this match is going to be pretty good. You're talking about two world-class athletes. There's no question that it has the potential to be a good match. No circumstance titles on the line in this match. It's going to be a good match. I honestly predict it will open the show. Probably not. They'll have one of the Wargames matches open the show. But it's going to be early in the card, and I think it's going to be a really good match. I have nothing negative to say about AJ versus Finn. I'm a big fan of both guys.
Who do you give this one to?
I think AJ has to come out on top in this match. I think it's one of those. Matter of fact, you know what?
Come to the dark side because I'm taking Finn.
Yeah, I think Finn, and I'll tell you why. Because Mia Yim is going to be occupied, and I don't think Mia Yim is going to be in his corner. And I think that at the end of the day, that Rhea, well, then again, Rhea is going to be tied up also. So that's kind of I actually got to. I don't know, man. I think
they've grown AJ so badly that they got to elevate him back a little.
Yeah. I think yeah. Okay, I'm with you on that.
And I think Finn needs it more. I think that group needs to be established way more than anything else.
I mean, we're talking about WrestleMania now. You know, it's been a long time the Judgment Day's been around.
Damon just hit this, and I'm going to get into this because this is going to make Sean mad for his next point. But why is this match not the first mixed traditional Survivor Series match?
That's a damn good question.
My argument, I guess, would be sponsors.
Yeah, I guess so. But man, oh man, I would have put, if I was in charge, I would have pushed for it. I would have made any provision to make sure the women didn't touch the men or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, man, that's the route they should have taken.
Yeah, you could have even had here's the thing that worries me. So we're going to get into the women's right now. The bait and switch that you could always do with these matches. WWE is known. I've been calling it for years. I write it on Twitter at EPW Show, also on Hive now at EPW Show. And when you go on there and see it, for years I've been calling it the bait and switch. You'll think you have a Survivor Series team ready, but then it flips over. I think we could see this happen with some of these teams. If it does, it's got to happen tonight or on the show, though. So,
well, I mean, who are you going to have it? First of all, I think the week league on this. Can you pull up the teams again, please?
Yeah.
The week league on each team, I would have to say, is Nikki Cross, which is, I'm not going to say weak link all the way. She's kind of earned her right to be on the team. And obviously, Mia Yim is a weak link on the team. So
I think it's that which one of these is not like the other.
Yeah, facts. So at the end of the day, I guess you can say they're the guys, the ladies that can be attacked and taken out of action. But, you know, I don't trust WWE anymore. I mean, you might have Mia Yim sit up here and get attacked tonight, and then they'll replace it with Dana Brooke. I don't trust them.
I think tonight on Raw, if I was in charge of this, just throwing this idea out here, and this is me pitching it in a room to Triple H or Sean. You know, Sean was probably in charge of GFW with Jeff Jarrett at one point in time. If I'm pitching an idea,
don't talk about Jeff with such disdain. Every time you mention his name, you talk about him with such disgust. He's a pillar of the wrestling community. Damn it!
He's got that powder going in the guitar right now. For
30 years, man. 30 years.
He knows. So listen, but hear me out on this idea. Dakota Kai, do you remember in NXT what happened?
Oh, I loved it. I love when she turned.
Turned. Why don't they bring it up as babyface and say, can you trust her? She turned in a Wargames match already and let her whole team down, and that's the reason why that team almost lost.
But they're the World Tag Team Champions.
Right, but cause that dissension, and then that makes them get upset enough to take out someone on the other side.
Oh, okay.
Then you could take Mia Yim out. What happened to Mia Yim? Well, she's going to be on crutches, but she'll be in AJ's corner.
Right. That's a good point.
You could do something like that. To me, it's more about being involved in the stories with Triple H. So what's your story right now? And then this could
lead to a work to do between tonight and Saturday.
You got 3 hours of time tonight. Use it wisely.
And by the way, speaking of attacks in the back, did we ever find out who was getting attacked in the back or in the backstage area back when Triple H first took over? Remember those vignettes where people will be in the back and people will be getting knocked out and there'd be ambulances and people running in the back and nobody knew what was going on?
No, I think he was just trying stuff.
Gotcha.
No idea. We went real Vince with this, but who do you give the win to in this one?
Damage Control, I guess.
They need it. I'm kind of with you on that. I would give it to Damage Control as well. Let's see what the chat. We got some comments in here. Slap nuts. You guys are terrible. If Dana Brooke gets added to this match, it's a fail for me.
And Mel, I was being completely sarcastic when I said that. I pray to God that's not the case, bro.
Would it surprise you, though?
It wouldn't surprise. You know why? Because all of a sudden now Dana Brooke has. Now this is me being like completely hoping I'm dead wrong here. Now Dana Brooke has an issue with Nikki Cross because she took the 24/7 title away. So that would actually make sense. It would be a complete catastrophe, but it would make sense.
Right. And someone said Tegan Knox.
Taking Knox is actually a decent choice, but not for a mystery partner. That's the problem. It's you can't have Tegan Knox be the mystery partner at Survivor Series. Do you guys realize, and I'm saying this tongue-in-cheek because I already know you guys realize this, all right? So the question is pretty much rhetorical. Do you know that The Undertaker was a mystery partner at Survivor Series? The Undertaker was a mystery partner at the Survivor Series. And you fast forward 30 plus years, and now Tegan Knox is going to be a mystery partner at Survivor. If it's a mystery, you have to make it big. And I'm talking about nothing less than Sasha Banks or Naomi. That's the only way. If this goes all the way to Survivor Series, Conrad, because if they announce it tonight, I guess Tegan Knox wouldn't be a big deal. But if this goes all the way to the show and they still haven't announced the partner, and then the partner's announced before the match starts, and it's Tegan Knox.
You know what else hurts, Sean? No Charlotte. Like, I would figure that they would want to be a part of this. Like, she's not on the sidelines because she's hurt. She got married, supposedly, right?
Yeah, she definitely got married, and she's been gone for 6 months, and I don't know what the heck is going on, because you're right, she's not injured.
Someone says Sasha's coming. I'm just trolling. Look at the size of that guy. That's a classic. When Taker came out. That
was pretty cool. I don't know. Was it Gorilla who said that or Roddy Piper?
I can't remember who was on commentary for that event now.
It was Roddy and Gorilla.
I'm gonna guess it was Roddy who said that.
Okay.
Just by the way Rob wrote it.
Shout out to who said that? Shout out to Yo, I think the word was look at the size of that ham hock. Look at the size of that ham hock. I think that's what it was.
Right? Ready to throw bows. And let's talk this main event before we get up on out of here, man. We got the Bloodline versus the Brawling Brutes.
I think this is a really cool opportunity to have Roman Reigns lose for the first time without having to lose. I think KO should be the survivor. And I think KO should move on to challenge Roman Reigns again for the title and a nice fresh remix of what we saw in 2020. Obviously, he would be unsuccessful in his opportunities to try and become champion, but I think Survivor Series should be a KO night, honestly.
We have confirmation that it was Roddy.
There you go.
Because somebody said I watched Survivor Series 1990 last weekend.
Nice.
Naomi is the surprise fifth as Sasha shows up to confront Ronda. I said it.
Woo. I hope you're right. That would be awesome.
That's bold. I'm gonna take the Bloodline here. I don't know why. I feel like they're gonna try to swerve us a little bit. Okay. I think we'll see something with Sammy and KO to start that there's like that soft spot, like, oh, my friend's hurt. Mm-hmm. But I think you could play off that Kevin Owens has that MCL sprain that they didn't want to mention, and then that's what they used to get the win.
I will say this, that I think KO being added to the team actually saves it from being a complete disaster.
I thought SmackDown was actually really good.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. But as far as it relates to the team itself, which I've had a lot of problems with specifically Ridge Holland and
Butch.
I think KO being on that team saves it from being terrible, if that makes any sense. Like, you needed to hit a home run with that fifth guy, and I think KO was good enough to say, okay, they don't completely suck now.
Okay.
Because to me, Sheamus, Drew, and KO deserve to be there. So they got 3 out of the 5 correct.
Right. Overall, I hope it's a fun weekend. Gives us something to talk about next week. We're going to be probably talking a little Survivor Series on here, and we'll come up with some other topics throughout the week, depending on what wrestling news comes out. Sean, what's going on your end of things right now?
Oh, man. Like I said a little while ago, we're definitely going to be having some stuff regarding New Japan Pro Wrestling. Their pay-per-view January 4th. I'm going to have a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot more writing lately, and it's getting a lot of good feedback, so make sure you check that out. I'm going to be putting out a brand new – I did one last year. I'm going to be putting out a brand new pound-for-pound list of the best fighters in the world. So I'm going to be doing that, so make sure you look out for that. And I'm going to be doing some more clips. And also be very much on the lookout, as we just debuted, myself and Conrad, on the Hubbard Wrestling Weekly channel, Clash of the Podcast Shorts. So all these wonderful shows that we've been doing that you guys seem to like, we've taken out bits and pieces, the most cool, most fun, the most outlandish times where I'm losing my mind talking about Braun Strowman, or Conrad's talking about his funnest memory when he thinks about Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. We take those clips out and we make a separate clip on Hubbard Wrestling Weekly. So make sure you check it out. Subscribe to EPW, subscribe to Hubbard Wrestling Weekly, and we're going to continue having fun, man, as I put my hoodie on and get ready for Raw tonight. Let's go.
You guys get ready to enjoy some Monday Night Raw. And for this episode of Clash of the Podcast, we are out. You guys catch everything pro wrestling on Wednesday. We will have an AEW Dynamite review, talk a little Thanksgiving as well. Let me know what you're eating out there. Let me know what's on them good plates. Make sure you bless those plates and make sure that you guys say a prayer for us. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Clash of the Podcast. We are out.
Happy Thanksgiving.